Doesn't this look totally delicious? Who would know just from looking at it that it's a keto-friendly, low-carb marbled cheesecake? It's so good. Sally, that girl, in the kitchen.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally, that girl, in the kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make my marbled keto or low carb cheesecake. So I just used to call it my low carb cheesecake before the word keto became so popular. So I've been making this cheesecake for a long time. Whenever you are following a low carb diet, of course, you can't have sugar. So this cheesecake really hits the spot because it gives you that little bit of sweetness that you're really craving when you're not having any sweets at all. And it is easy to put together and it's delicious. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a marbled effect that's going to make it extra special and really appetizing. So I'm super excited to teach you how to make it. So let's not wait another second and let's get started.
For today's recipe, you will need 2 8-ounce bars of cream cheese, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, 3/4 of a cup of Splenda granulated or 18 packets of Splenda, 2 teaspoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, some non-stick cooking spray, and I'm going to be serving it with some raspberries, but that of course is completely optional. So one of the great things about this recipe is that it requires very few tools to prepare it. So all you're going to need is a large bowl and a smaller bowl and a spoon, a standard pie plate, a silicone or rubber spatula, a knife, some measuring spoons, and some dry measuring cups, and then a small bowl and a fork for beating your eggs. And of course, you'll need some oven mitts to remove your hot cheesecake from the oven. So now that we have all of our ingredients and tools together, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees because this recipe comes together real quick and you want your oven ready. Then pull your cream cheese out of the fridge and then put it in a microwave safe bowl. And then we're going to put it in the microwave just to soften it. And what I do is I set my microwave to 50% power and then I set a 3-minute timer. Of course, microwaves vary, but what we're looking for is that the cream cheese is slightly soft so that when we run our rubber or silicone spatula through it, we can pretty much just break it down and make it nice and creamy. So don't overheat your cream cheese. You just want it soft enough that you can use the back of your spatula to just break it completely down and to remove any lumps. So once you've broken it down and it's nice and creamy, then all you're going to want to do is crack a couple of eggs into a bowl. Then you're going to beat them well with a fork, and then once they are ready, you're going to add them into your softened cream cheese. So all you want to do is pour them right in, and then you're going to use your spatula, and you're just going to mix them right into the cream cheese. It's just going to take a minute or so to just mix the egg right into the cream cheese. I just scrape down the sides of the bowl and I make sure that the egg is well incorporated into the cream cheese. So once the mixture is nice and creamy and all the egg has been well incorporated, then that's when we're going to move on to add our vanilla, which will give our low-carb keto cheesecake a delicious flavor. And then we're just going to do the same and just stir that right into the mixture. Now, once that has been well combined, then we're going to move on to adding our sweetener. So you can use the granulated Splenda, or instead you can just open up packets of Splenda and add those. Either way, you just need one or the other. So you're going to add your Splenda in, and I've tried making this recipe with a bunch of different sweeteners over the years. And trust me when I tell you, Splenda is by far my favorite. I've tried all kinds of different ones, natural ones, all kinds. And the truth is that I really believe you get the best flavor and texture when using Splenda. You can use either one. Like I said, it won't make a difference which one you choose. So once you add your Splenda in, then all you want to do is stir it real well and just make sure you break up that Splenda and that it's very well distributed in the mixture. You just want to make sure that there aren't any clumps. The granulated kind will definitely try to clump up, so just make sure you break it down as I'm showing you here. Just scrape the sides of your bowl, use the back of your spatula, stir, and break it down. And then once you're sure it's well incorporated, we can move on. So that mixture is ready. And if you wanted to not marble your cheesecake, then it would be ready to bake. But we are going to move on to making our marbled effect. You could also add raspberries or blueberries and it would be delicious. So now what I do is I take about a half a cup of the mixture and then I put it into a separate bowl, and then in that portion of the mixture I am going to be adding my unsweetened cocoa powder, because what we're trying to do here is create a little bit of a marbled effect, which is just going to make our cheesecake even prettier. And of course, that chocolatey flavor is going to make it even yummier. So I just add the unsweetened cocoa powder right into this smaller portion of our cheesecake mixture. And it's already been sweetened and it has that vanilla in it. So really there's nothing left to do here except stir it really well to incorporate that unsweetened cocoa powder. And once you do, look at how absolutely beautiful and chocolatey and just luscious this looks. It's really super, super yummy. So now we're gonna move on to assembling our cheesecake. So what I like to do is I spray my pie plate really well with some nonstick cooking spray so that my cheesecake comes out really easily when I go to cut it. And then I'm going to move this chocolate one aside for a moment because we're going to start with the larger portion, which is absolutely yummy with that delicious vanilla in it. So we're going to add this portion first, and we're just going to pour all of it straight into that prepared pie plate. And make sure we get all of that yummy goodness. This is why I like working with this type of a spatula, because it works as a spoon and it'll scrape off all that yumminess. And then we are going to go on to our marbling. So what I do is I just give this all a stir, make sure it's nice and thick and creamy. And then I'm going to use my spoon to just drizzle some of this right on top of my cheesecake. So there is no particular way you need to do this. I happen to just like starting in a circular motion, and then I just make sure to get the chocolate really all over the place. I go in circles and then I change directions and then I go back and forth, and you'll see there's really no logic to it. We're just drizzling this yummy chocolate goodness all over our cheesecake, and then we will be using our knife to finish off the marbling. So just make sure that you're sharing that chocolatey love all over. And if you notice, I leave a rim of the lighter colored cheesecake because I like the effect it gets when I don't take it all the way out to the edge. But of course, you can go all the way out to the edge if you want to. You can do whatever you want with the marbling, but I really love the effect when I leave an edge of the lighter color. And then I just grab my knife and I just swirl away. Now notice how that lighter color on the end, I'm not pulling that knife all the way through the end because I don't want to bring that chocolate all the way out. So I'm just playing with that chocolate and swirling it but keeping it more in the center of my pie plate and leaving that edge light. And then it just creates this really nice swirly effect. And it also brings that chocolate down. It's not just sitting on top of my cheesecake. It's going further down, almost creating a chocolatey layer, a beautiful marbled layer that's going to be delicious. So now, how cute does this look? It's not even baked yet, and it just looks fantastic. I think it's just absolutely adorable. It's going to be a really pretty low carb keto type cheesecake, and you're going to love it. So now we're going to pop it into the oven on a center rack, and I am going to set a 40-minute timer to allow it to cook through, and then it's going to rise as it cooks because of course it has those eggs that we have beaten into it, but it will settle a bit once we pull it out of the oven. So after 40 minutes, we will bring it out and look at how beautiful it looks. It's almost souffle-like when you bring it out, and when it's warm, it definitely has that bit of a rise to it, and it's just got a softer texture to it. So of course you can very much serve this hot. I prefer to eat it cold, but I will also eat it warm. So I like to just let it sit a little and just not be super hot before I cut into it so that the slices can hold their shape. But it is smelling divine. It looks amazing, and it's yummy no matter what. So you should probably try a slice warm and hot and then cold after you've refrigerated it to get all the different effects, and then decide what your favorite is. It's yummy any way you serve it. So now I'm just slicing it up, and I have let it sit just a bit so the pie pan I can touch. It's not super hot, but it's still slightly warm. And look at how pretty this slice of marbled keto low carb cheesecake looks. Look at that effect. Is it me, or is this not absolutely adorable? It's got that beautiful marbling, and it's got that edge that still remained with its initial color, and it's just absolutely divine. And of course, I've served it with some raspberries. Berries are a fruit that are low in carbohydrates, so they are the perfect accompaniment to this cheesecake. And just look at how pretty it looks. Look at that marbled layer. I mean, it just gets the coolest effect when you add the chocolate in this way, and I just love what it looks like. And of course, it's slightly warm, so I'm going to try it this way because I did not want to wait and refrigerate this and then have to try it and sample it a few hours from now. I will have a piece tonight when it's cold also, but look at how beautiful it looks, and I'm going to try it now while it's still warm, and it's got all those different colors running throughout. Beautiful. And so good. So as I said, when it's warm, it's still somewhat souffle-like. It's definitely lighter when it's warm, and then it becomes more dense as it cools in the fridge. So you can do it with or without the raspberries. Amazing. So good. The tartness from that raspberry together with the sweetness of this delicious marbled cheesecake, it's just super yummy. And really, when you eat it like this warm, it's light, airy, and delicate. And look at those different layers. It is really a good looking and keto, low carb friendly dessert. Delicious, fun, and oh so good.
So how delicious does this cheesecake look? It is super appetizing, and the truth is it's really yummy even though we're not using real sugar in it. It is just perfect, and it hits the spot when you're craving just a little something sweet, but you're trying to watch your carbs or your sugar. So you saw how quick and easily it came together. And believe me when I tell you, this is going to be a recipe that you're going to want to be making over and over through the years because it's easy and it's really perfect. And of course, it's a great dessert for anyone who is watching their sugar intake. You are really going to love it. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're gonna have to try to make this recipe yourself. And of course, if you enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like, comment, and share. I really love it when you share, so thank you so much. And if you're not already following me on social media, you can follow Sally That Girl in the Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, and on Pinterest. And you can follow me as Sally That Girl FL on Twitter, Snapchat, and on TikTok. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe and to touch that little notification bell so that you get notified every time I put up a new recipe, which is often. And I have tons of recipes already up on my channel. Just travel over to the video tab, and underneath that tab you're going to find tons of amazing recipes: sweet, savory, desserts, appetizers, all kinds, and now even a keto low carb recipe. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sally That Girl in the Kitchen.